Hello everybody, my name is Goosebumps for Dummies, legally on paper, given a birth name. Yeah, my parents predicted my channel name, crazy I know. And today we are going to be reviewing The Haunted Car, but not the book, the episode from the new Goosebumps show, Goosebumps, The Vanishing. Ooh, scary. Yeah, so the third episode is based off The Haunted Car, which is a semi-obscure Series 2000 story. It is not so obscure because it was used in the Goosebumps movie vaguely, and of course it has gotten a reprint in the Goosebumps Classic series. And might I say, I didn't have much expectations for this episode because that was probably, of all stories, the one I was least curious to see because, well, it's just a car that drives itself and is crazy. And I'll say this, it's not a bad episode at all, and I think it's actually quite good. And I like what they did with the haunted car. And also, it features a character with the same name as me, Alex. Yeah, my name is Alex, or at least my nickname, because my legal name is Goosebumps for Dummies, I swear. I'm not lying. Yeah, let's dive into this one. The episode kicks off with a flashback to about 10 months ago when Alex was with her friends and her friends started lighting fireworks indoors and may or may not burn the entire house down that they were in. Yeah, great shit there, buddy. And guess who gets blamed for it all? Alex, because she's the only one left at the crime scene after everyone has fucking fled, and her mother and all the cops and police force find her there. Yeah, it's not a great look for her, and she gets sent to juvie for 10 months. And with her mother's permission, because her mother's like, fuck you, learn a lesson, bitch. She still loves her daughter, of course, I hope. Cut to present day, and the Brewer family is up now, and Devin is going out to see Frankie and talk about what the hell had happened last night involving Trey, and maybe him turning into a monster and getting crushed by a car, who is now supposedly a haunted car, as you might assume from the episode title. Ooh, I wonder. Cece goes to debate camp, but not for getting a little upset at her father, Anthony Brewer, because he seems more concerned about his basements than Devin after she lets on a few things. Which is, like, kind of sad because he actually is concerned for Devin because his basement actually concerns Devin. Yeah. Alex gets a tracking device on her leg, and she also has a new curfew, 10 p.m. Just great for Alex. Now she's a little bit more limited to doing things, only not exactly at the same time. It's a weird plot element that's only applies to this episode. Jen goes to Anthony Brewer's house to see what the hell he wants, and he has Trey's clothes in his freezer, which is concerning as hell on its own. But, you know, of course, Trey's missing now. So it's just like, you kind of look guilty, but of course they're friends, and she doesn't think much of it, rightfully so. He isn't exactly guilty, but he doesn't let on that it might have something to do with his plan why Trey is missing. They go to see Trey's father at his workplace, and Trey's father is just as confused. He does not know where his son is, and Trey's father goes out to look for Trey in Trey's car, which may or may not have crushed the kid last night. It's almost like he's sitting on him in that car. That sounds gross as hell. Anthony and Jen go back to Jen's workplace. During her community service, Alex sees Murph, the kid who may or may not set the house on fire 10 months ago in Garden Jervy, walking down the street. She tries to go talk to him, but she's not allowed to. And after work, she decides, okay, I'm gonna go talk to this motherfucker, and tries to get CJ's motorcycle, which doesn't exactly happen. CJ's like, no. No way, Jose. And she instead has to steal Trey's car after she sees Trey's father park the car, not lock it. Yeah, a little bit of a stupid decision there, but, you know, it sets the plot of the episode in motion, I guess. She drives the car to Cece's location, which I don't know how the fuck she found Cece in this gigantic city we're presuming. We've gotten a few sky shots. It's huge, alright? Gravesend is a big city, and she somehow found her, but either way, I don't know if she was, like, tracking or something. And she blackmails Cece to get into her car and to help her find Murph by showing her footage of Cece stealing lipstick. Completely out of character for Cece. I know Cece's not my favorite character. She's actually my least favorite of the entire core 6 kids, in all honesty. I like Trey more. Yeah, I said it. But, like, Cece stealing lipstick is just completely out of fucking character. Like, I know we're not downsides yet, but, like, bruh. Cece asks to oblige, but when they get to the location that Murph might be lurking at, Cece's like, I'm gonna report you for stealing his car, because she doesn't believe that she actually borrowed Trey's car, especially since he's kind of missing. Yeah. And, Alex lets on about everything that had happened and how she's not actually guilty, and how she just wants to get a little bit of revenge, you know, payback, wants him to admit everything. And also says that she ain't no snitch, and that's why she never told the cops that it was actually this kid, Murph, who actually set the house on fire. Which is like, what the fuck? Another dumb little thing. And yeah, Cece's like, alright, I'll go help you, and she goes to find Murph. And while she's looking for Murph inside of the building, the haunted car starts acting up, because it is haunted. No shit. And it blasts System of a Down, as well as blasts the air conditioning right into Alex's face. Cece returns with the info they need to track Murph down. Anthony and Jen are kind of upset with each other, especially Jen and Anthony, because Anthony isn't letting on something about what had been stolen from his basement by Trey, or presumably by Trey, or presumably stolen. We don't quite know, or at least Jen doesn't. And he storms out of the building, not wanting to really answer that question because it's not gonna be believable. And Jen is then let know that Trey's car had been stolen downtown, and she goes to check it out. Meanwhile, Frankie and Devin are down in the basement, where they shouldn't be because they're supposed to stay out of there. But no, they want to find some clues about what the hell is going on, and whilst they're down there, Dr. Brewer returns home and starts talking to himself and logging his thoughts after he actually went into the fucking sewer outside and gotten a vine, one of which had attacked Devin. How do you like that poop water too, huh? He reveals that this might all have to do with the missing kids from 1994, which is obviously not pleasant news. And also, he makes a fucking compass out of the blood from this vine, or whatever the goop is supposed to be. We don't quite know by the end of the show. And yeah, the compass, in the petri dish of all things, leads him to the military fort. Cece and Alex find Murph at his work delivering something, and after Alex confronts him, he's like, fuck this shit, I'm out, and starts running away on his bike. And they have to chase him down, though Cece convinces Alex that it's not worth it and she shouldn't be sent back to juvie in case this goes bad. And that, you know, if she really wants to just not be looked at as a bad person, you know, maybe this isn't the way to go. Getting revenge on someone who is not even confirmed guilty of the action might make her look worse. So yeah, she's like, okay, and lets off the gas, and then actually lets on after the haunted car is like, fuck you, and grabs her foot with some more goop and makes her push the gas pedal. It's, you know, it's a pretty intense scene. They almost run over the kid, but Murph is able to get away narrowly after they crash into a fucking streetlight. And Cece's pretty upset because she thinks that this was all Alex is doing, even after Alex screamed, I'm not controlling the car, which is fair enough, hard to believe. Cece hasn't really seen much of the crazy shit happening quite yet. She's just vaguely aware. And Cece storms out of the car, and she forgets her kombucha bottle and decides, I'm going home. I'm going home. Note that she forgot her kombucha bottle. Cece gets a ride from CJ, and whilst doing that, the haunted car starts acting up again and starts to fix itself, blast more System of a Down, and blast the air conditioning, as well as lock her in the car, lock Alex in the car. And Alex had her phone like right out the window like a fucking idiot. I don't know who does this, even if the car is parked, and it may or may not fall, and she can't quite get it because she's kind of locked in. So her car drives off, leaving her phone in dust at the crime scene. Her mother, Jen, finds the phone at the crime scene after investigating it, and quite frankly, knows that she may or may not be fucking guilty of whatever the hell happened there. And guilty of stealing Trey's car, presumably. But it is a mystery about how the car got away when it was so clearly destroyed without any wreckage in the road. Like, there's no way a car could not be destroyed unless it was haunted! Oh, that's crazy! Oh! And guess what the haunted car is doing? It is under an underpass whilst Alex is trying to desperately escape the car. And guess who shows up to make the scenario even worse? Murph. In his own car. Murph is a little pissed, but then he realizes, hey, she's not controlling that fucking car. And the haunted car's like, yeah. And guess what? I'm gonna make you fucking wreck. And he gets to a wreck. Just great. Alex at the end of the day did get his revenge. I mean, her revenge. Sorry, I was thinking about myself because I'm a narcissist. And the haunted car attempts to drive Alex into the fucking ocean, but fails miserably when Alex escapes through the trunk with her belongings and Cece's kombucha cup. Remember that. The haunted car crashes into the water, and the black goop seeps into the ocean and retreats back to the military fort. Yeah, it went home. Later, Jen finds Alex walking down the street late at night, trying to get home, and Jen's like, hey, I'll give you a ride. And she is clearly pissed, but doesn't ask much questions because she does, you know, Alex doesn't want to let on what the hell just happened that day because it's just crazy. They'll talk later, you know. Alex narrowly gets home before curfew thanks to her mother. And to round off the episode, Anthony Brewer goes to the military fort thanks to his homemade compass with the black goop. And guess who he finds butt naked in the military for, in the exact room where his brother and the missing kids had supposedly perished. Trey is butt-ass naked, and he takes Trey to the hospital. And that rounds off the episode, The Haunted Car. Let's get to my thoughts. Positives. I like Alex as a character. Alright, she has some flaws in this episode, but Alex, I think she's good, and I like the stuff we got of her. I think the relationship with her and Jenna is good. All the acting in this episode is good, and I think the side plots are relatively interesting and help move the story forward. And overall, the episode is a good time. There was nothing really overly bad about this one, but I don't think it's a huge standout for the series, but I was pleasantly surprised with the Haunted Car. I thought it was pretty good. Even though that was one I was easily least excited for, because, it's just a fucking car that drives itself. And at the end of the day, it was that, but I found it, kind of fun, in a way, a bit more fun than I thought it would. Also, System of a Down, pretty cool. As for negatives, I'll easily say there's some dumb shit going on here. Teenagers being literally unbelievably ridiculous, like, Cece, out of complete character in that one thing involving her stealing lipstick. That's not a CC thing. Like, that is not a CC thing to do, alright? It's so dumb. It is so dumb, and it's like, why? Let alone Alex not reporting, Murph to the cops, when she easily could have back then. Because she ain't no snitch, she says. When she wants to snitch now, she says. Bruh. Like, complete retard. Let alone stealing the car. She's just not exactly the brightest person. And there's just some plot stuff in this episode that just doesn't make any sense. It's a little stupid. But either way, I really enjoyed this episode, and I thought it was a really good time. And a blast. Not talking about blasting, death metal, or air conditioning. Let's get to my rating. I give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was quite good and a bit better than part 1 of Sale of the Basement, but not part 2. Overall, this episode was quite good, and I think it is definitely one of the more higher episodes in the season. Well, that's not huge competition. A lot of these episodes are going to land at a very similar score, funny enough. As you can see, 8 to 9 out of 10 is so far the only score territory we have. But maybe episode 4 will break that, and not in the way you want, because stay tuned for my episode review of Monster Blood. Easily my least favorite episode of the season. See you guys in the next one. Bye.